Okay.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Bottles.
Yeah.
Hello, we are the Bee's Knees. You all know our names by now. There we go. I'd like to start off with a statistic I found on keepamericabeutiful.org, access on October 23rd, 2019. Did you know that the amount of plastic litter has increased by 165.4% since 1969 in just the United States? Oops, that was a question. Oops. So for starters, I'd like to show up here on our projector the bike path, which is highlighted in green across Chico. There's two main routes of it. According to ChicoSustainability.org, it is an award-winning Highway 99 bikeway project that consists of a 7-mile-long continuous bike path that parallels State Highway 99. It was developed in 2 phases, which is why we have 2 routes of it, and the first phase was finished in 2011, and the second phase is currently being finished. Today we're going to tell you about the history of our bike path.
Oh, shit. It's still recording.
It is?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Oh,
Today we're going to tell you about the history of our bike path, the issues that we have with the bike path, pollutants' effect on the atmosphere and wildlife, and our game plan. And now I'm going to pass it to Ruthie. I didn't remember who was going.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about biking history, like in Chico, and about our bike paths. So first, Chico won a while back, in 1997, America's Best Bike Town out of, nationwide. And then in 2007, Chico also won the League of American Bicyclists, which is, both are actually a pretty big deal, and were both published in the Bicyclist magazine. I knew that. And then also Chico is home to 3 major bike races, one being a mountain bike trail, which is the Bidwell Bump, and then the 2 other standard bike races, which happen and then the other 2, which is Chico Wildflower Century and Chico Wildflower Century, which happen during the seasonal changes. Now I'm going to talk about the history of the bike trails, which actually, as Nikki said that it started in 2011. What are you doing?
It has a fucking torch!
Oh my god!
We have 2 minutes of video.
Okay, so it started in 2011, and Chico City Council was really concerned because our population was growing at a faster rate than usual, and they wanted to keep up the bike or the motive for people to ride bikes as opposed to automotive vehicles. And so they decided to prioritize making bike paths, which requires federal funding. And since 2011 all the way up to the present, Chico has received over $27.4 million to support providing bike paths to Chico. And now Torin is going to talk about what Torin is going to talk about.
So, you saw us throw that trash and 5 out of 6 of us missed, right? So imagine how many people are missing, Imagine how many of us are missing the trash on a daily basis that we don't even see. I like to start off by saying, with a quote from Rhonda Sherman on thirdbusinesspundit.com. She said, "Who is going to pick this up? God?" Low-key, I know it kind of sounds dumb, but if you think about it, if you are trying to keep a place beautiful, why throw trash on the floor? Despite the fact that you don't know what it's going to do to that area, I know it's kind of punny, but you seem trashy if you litter like that. In a place like that, in a beautiful, National Historic Park, not necessarily, just Bidwell, but in a place in general, you don't really want to litter. Hey, stay over there. Now, where I'm from down in the Bay Area, even just simple things that areas were trying to do, Winco or other grocery stores like Food for Less, they were banning the simple use of plastic bags. So even if you wanted to use a bag, they would just have paper bags there for us ready. or like if people were super stubborn about it, they'd have to like buy the reusable bags, which are now like they're not as good, you know what I mean? But like they still kind of make a, in the Bay Area, they definitely made it that big of a difference because like it started to spread more and more from the East Bay and farther down. I think it should like come up here. I was actually in my journalism class when we had to go and talk and sit down at like a city council meeting. One of the questions was brought up about the Bay Area and how they use how they do the plastic bag ban, and they're wanting to bring it up here. But I hope that gets put into use, but I doubt it will. Another quote that struck my eye off of another website that I can't remember right off the top of my head, but I have written down. The quote says, "We don't own the earth, we are the earth's caretakers. We take care of it and all the things on it. And when we're done with it, it should be left better than we found it." And that's something that I think we can easily just like live by if we just take the necessary steps. And taking the necessary steps isn't something that we have to like go out of our way to do. It's simply just putting in the effort to like finish what you started. If you're gonna eat something, like throw it away after you're done with it. If you're gonna, like how my mom says, like if you're gonna make a dirty dish, like clean it right after you're done. Or like just to make it easy on everyone, you know what I mean? Like if you apply that stuff from like normal everyday life to just like trying to keep where you're at nice, then it'll make everything nice in the end. And now I'm gonna have Jacob tell us about how the O2 affects the stuff.
The O2 affects the stuff. I'm going to be talking about why you should choose like riding bikes and why we want to basically clean up the bike paths and like encourage people to start riding bikes, because there is a lot of over pollution going on with especially cars and vehicles that are releasing these gases that I'm going to be talking about. The hazardous air emissions include carbon monoxide, which is colorless, odorless, but it is very hazardous, so you cannot tell like if it's gonna be if it's around you, like emitting from a car, like you can't tell if it's there. It's just bad for you to be like breathing in, and like it gets into your skin and stuff. And the greatest source of it is burning fossil fuels from vehicles and everything like that. Another carcinogen, which is basically a chemical that's going to cause cancer. All these are actually, but benzene is one of the worst ones, and it's the sweet smell from gasoline that I think some people actually like it, which is kind of funny. It's found in gasoline, and exposure to a large amount of benzene can be really damaging to reproductive organs and like other organs in general. Like you just shouldn't be breathing that in. It's really bad for you. And the worst of all of them are dioxins, which carbon dioxide is released from dioxins when it's combusted down, but carbon dioxide itself isn't actually like toxic, but dioxins are also released in other ways from burning them. And an example of that is Agent Orange, which was used in the Vietnam War to like for chemical warfare to like kill people like really fast by just spreading it out with a plane, and then people just die when they breathe it in. And other DLCs or dioxin-like chemicals are highly hazardous that are emitted from dioxins in general. Carbon dioxide, the main problem with it is that it is in the atmosphere, and it's basically, if you think about it, like if you go out and lay down in the sun and you put like a blanket over you, you're gonna heat up really, really fast, and the heat's not gonna be able to escape really fast. So that's basically what carbon dioxide does to the atmosphere. And I have some statistics about the composition of it. On average, CO2 is only supposed to be 0.03 to 0.04% of our atmosphere, and by 2100, it is estimated to double, which is an increase in almost 10 degrees Fahrenheit globally. So that means like that's the difference between melting and a solid like 30 to 40 degrees. And I have a chart right here that shows over the past 800,000 years that right now we are record high, and it's not good. We need to cut down these emissions, and it's, one thing to do that is by riding bikes and fixing up the bike paths. So, with that being said, I'm going to finish off with a quote before I pass it on to Cameron. It's by Jane Goodall, accessed October 28, 2019. You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of a difference you want to make. I'm going to pass it off to Cameron.
Okay, so thank you, Jake, for going over the causes and effects of pollution, and thank you, Torrin, for going over our the effects of throwing actual garbage on the ground. Now that we understand that overall pollution, not recycling, is a terrible issue in our community, and basically we're going to be now going over what the heck we're going to be doing to kind of solve this. So basically we're going to be going around with Ruthie's wagon along the 99 highway bike trail. We're going to be basically just picking up any garbage or recyclables that we see, and with everything that we collect, we're going to obviously dispose of the garbage as ethically as possible. Any recyclables that we take in, we are going to be recycling, and any proceeds that we make off of it, we're going to actually donating back to the Butte Environmental Council. It's a really great thing. It's it's specifically for this area, and it's pretty much a nature preservation association. I included their mission statement, which is our mission is to protect and defend the land, air, and water of Butte County and the surrounding region through action, advocacy, and education. You can find that on becnet.org. I accessed it on October 27, 2019, and so yeah. And then no. And then there's also another quote that I'd like to share with you guys by Margaret Mead. It's never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. You can find that on www.volunteerhub.com, and I accessed it on October 27, 2019. Now that you guys know that what we're going to be doing, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to Zoe to conclude this.
Okay. And now that Cameron told you about our game plan, I'm going to revisit all of our main points and start out with some quotes. The first quote is, "The earth is what we all have in common," and that was said by Wendell Berry. And then the second one is, "Be part of the solution, not the pollution," and that is an unknown source. And I accessed both of those on October 25th. So first, Nikki introduced us to our topic and showed us the map of the bike path, and we learned that in total it is 7 miles long. Ruth told us all about the history of the paths and that we were actually voted the best bike town in 1997. Torrin informed us about how littering negatively affects the animals in the bike path. We learned about the pollution caused from the burning of fossil fuels and littering from Jacob, and how riding bikes can improve this. And finally, Cameron told us about our game plan and how we're planning on picking up trash and recyclables on the bike path and donating the money made from the recyclables to the Butte Environmental Council.